always in a good way.
All right, so that always tells me that we're live when the loons are done. Are we live, Isaac?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Birch, just in time, has now got our special guest, a beautiful customized mug.
Nice.
We'll get. I'll cover up my Tim Hortons coffee.
This is about branding, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll just cover mine up. I'll use two hands so no one sees my branding. Anyways. Hi, this is Amy. Amy, Mr. Birch.
Hey, thanks. I just want to start out a little bit and acknowledge this fine young lady, Amy. I've known you probably for about 15 years, I
would say.
Yeah, about there, right? And Amy is with POS Systems. POS Systems is in a lot of our communities in Manitoba. But before I get to that, maybe we should talk about opening up the conversation. Amy, can you tell us what you do at POS Systems? And thank you for being here today, by the way. Thank you very much. It's an honor to have you here today. And you know what? We're unscripted here.
I was just gonna say, did you catch that nervous coffee? Mr. Birch is drinking his nervous coffee. After how many hundreds of videos, he's still nervous. But the point is that we're live, we're unscripted. So careful what you say.
I know. I was like, what? Nobody should have told me that.
Yeah, no,
here
really
we go.
Good.
We're here.
All right. So never mind the unscripted part. We're good to go. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're sitting here on the couch.
Okay. Well, my name is Amy. I'm with a company called POS Systems. It's a nice, small family-run business. We were established in the 1980s, and we were literally the first in the trade to do what we do in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Northwest Ontario.
Are you family?
I am not family, but it's like a local, family-run business.
Yeah.
However, I feel like family.
Right.
It's kind of the work dynamic that we have, and especially in Indigenous communities, we've created those relationships. Honestly, before it was cool to do business with Indigenous people, there's that word, the saying that's going out there now, but we built those relationships, and it's all about the relationship and becoming friends and caring. We put our dues in with a lot of sponsorships and golf tournaments, and even going to community hockey tournaments and everything like that. So
that's what I noticed about you, Amy. You're you get along with our people, and you seem to be right in the mix. And sometimes being a woman, even in general, but you just kind of just mold in with a lot of our leaders. I've seen you mingle with our leaders, and you're really good friends. You must be doing something right.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's once again, it's just kind of like that people-person interaction and just giving back to communities, and it's the most important thing. It's I don't even want to say customers. I call my people partners and family.
I like that.
You're in it for the long haul.
And that's the kind of terminology we used a lot. We got allies. And you just like you got allies. You know what I mean? That's fantastic. So getting back to POS Systems, they've been around a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, what year did they start? And that's Rod Thompson.
Yeah, Rod Thompson founded the company in 1980 and literally selling point-of-sale systems out of the trunk of his car. Kind of turned into who he is now, and
a drug dealer.
Pretty much. But it's all about technology, and technology is the foundation to keep economic development go around. And anything from camera systems to debit terminals to ATMs, to hospitality systems, liquor control systems, to internal networking, managed services. So if anything goes down internally, especially in remote communities, that's a very problem area.
That's what we were talking about before we started. Was that managed IT component? So tell me what the managed IT component is when it comes to POS. I don't really understand.
So what that is essentially is we have a whole IT department, and we physically will go to your community, do a site analysis, and then figure out what IT services we need to incorporate. But the best thing with our internal IT management services, whether any of your internal technology is connected, and if at any given time it disconnects for whatever reason, we get an alert and we could rectify the problem more than, or I guess
you don't have to be there on location. You can do it remotely.
So we can rectify it before you even know that there is something wrong.
And does that happen from time to time? Like how often does something like that happen?
Oh, it definitely happens, but we're able to just dive into your system remotely from here locally in Winnipeg, and we'll be able to find out which device is tampered with or if there's any kind of issue. Sometimes it's simply just unplugged.
Right.
And we call somebody in the community member and say, hey, you need to plug this particular system in.
And so the managed IT component, is there like a backup redundancy? Like is that information stored safely somewhere? How does that work?
Oh yeah, so everything is basically cloud, and we have an amazing IT guru that created custom coding to manage all these services.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a little bit over my head. My eyes are starting to glaze already thinking about it, right?
But
the cloud. What do you mean the cloud?
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of components, but honestly, so we've been involved in economic development with Indigenous communities for a very long time, and we originally just started as a point of sale company, so POS Systems, right, with the integrated, point of sale system to the gas pump interface with the custom coding for tobacco rebates and treaty discounts. And
I've been down that road with you guys.
Exactly.
In different communities.
We started there, but technology is key.
Yeah,
now you need a strong network. You need everything to connect. And if you don't have that, your systems aren't going to work proper.
Okay.
And then you got to call an IT company, and then IT cost says, oh, call your POS provider. So it's a ping pong effect.
So how do you guys do that in remote areas?
Yeah. Our smarty pants IT guy. He
Yeah,
figured it
I
out.
got good people, but let me I'm going to date myself a little bit because time speeds up as we get older.
Yeah.
I started my first store when I was about 15, 16 years old. I was out of a 10 by 20 trailer. I like to tell people that story. When I borrowed $2,000 from my mom's bingo winnings.
Yeah.
So I started selling. I couldn't concentrate in school, so it was so I started out of a 10 by 20 trailer selling drinks, chips, chocolate bars, and I remember I didn't have a cash register. And what it was out of a shoebox. That's how I was collecting my money. The first year, over $276,000 in sales came out of there selling drinks, chips, chocolate bars, because Garden Hill's a very large reserve. But year two, that's when I finally realized that I got to get into the game here because of my
balling back then.
Yeah, well, I know.
Like, wow.
But year two, it was over 700,000 sales. Year three was over $1 million sales. But what happened was I was using these old Casio cash registers.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so I went and I really took my business to another level when I hooked up with Rod Thompson. And what happened was we got an upgrade. I don't even remember the cash register, but it was the first time that we could have subtotals, reconcile our numbers every day.
Yeah.
But we were hands-on. I was hands-on. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until later we started to really upgrade our systems. It almost seemed like we grew with POS. And that's where the relationship that I have with Rod Thompson and the POS family, as I give them a lot of credit for keeping me organized over the years. Isn't that crazy?
It's important. Like, you need good technology to increase your bottom line.
No kidding. As you're telling that story, I'm thinking about accountants. I'm thinking about all the other sides of the business that these machines and services must be in place to properly be able to, talk taxes, to talk about, the sales.
Well, let me get back to that then.
What
it is it's really important to have strong accounting, especially when you're doing First Nation tobacco and gas. Because if you don't have proper accounting, the First Nations will not get their tobacco rebates on a timely fashion.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right? Is that true?
Yeah,
because it's all based on invoices, and you got to back up that you're selling to First Nation members from the community, and they got to be signed off every cigarette sale and every gas sale, because otherwise the First Nation will not get the gas tax. Is that still?
It's very true. And that's why we've created these custom codings to do exactly just that. But we're very hands-on from the ground up, coming to the community, becoming friends, making that relationship all the way through the process of installation, training, programming, everything. But training is the key word.
It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And what happens is if something goes down, what are you going to do? Guess what? On a Saturday or a Sunday, when you need to be open, POS is there to ensure that there's a backup plan to keep business going. So you can't shut the business down.
We were saying that it's kind of complicated, but it doesn't sound so complicated right now.
We do all the work for you, essentially. right from the ground up.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you've been part of the Restaurant Association. What are the other associations that you're active in?
Well, we're part of a bunch of multiple different chambers. The Aboriginal Chamber. I'm part of local with the MMF. So yeah, we're heavily involved with many Manitoba chambers, the Hotel Association Chamber. So we just try to get out there and dabble with as much as we possibly can to build those relationships. And it's just a key to show face everywhere and just show how we are personable and how we do care. And
Well, we're talking about the different cash registers and the evolution of POS. When did you guys start going into the cameras?
Oh, the cameras. Oh, yes. Okay. So this was kind of one of my babies, actually.
I was going to say, because
this is one of my babies.
That's why I asked.
So it's really fascinating with cameras, but cameras, it's very key in communities. We've set up like entire communities of like, say even God's Lake First Nation,
Right.
And the difference and impact it made, because there was a lot of arson, there was a lot of vandalism, there was harassment and everything going on. And with the types of cameras that we have, the true analytics in them and the AI, and we could create imaginary lines that if somebody walks across that line, there'll be a strobe that goes off. And
Really?
I had people from God's Lake show me and share images of the detouring effect that it has with people, hooligans that were going to come into the property. And we put a perimeter in there.
And then they see the camera and run away.
They ran them away.
That's
you can
fantastic.
hear everything that they're saying. It's two-way audio. Right to facial recognition, right to license plate recognition. If somebody drives off in their vehicle, it captures that license plate. So if that said vehicle comes back again after doing a drive off, it'll fire off an alert.
Wow.
But it's a huge potential.
So
with
Steve
cameras.
would remember your face. But the problem is
that was time to start picking on Steve.
No,
I know the sequence.
The problem is Steve aged pretty fast the last 8 months working for me, so you have to.
Okay, so enough about Steve aging. I'm also interested in these cameras. Let's stick on the camera. What about during COVID and the temperature that people had when they were sick?
Oh, yeah.
Was that part of the camera program too?
Yeah, so thermal cameras.
Yeah,
thermal cameras are huge, right down to the point that it could detect if you had a mask on or not, and it could unlock the door to let you in. So the cameras have blown up, and technology is actually kind of fascinating.
Well, I was just, that's where I was going with it too. Like, I'm not here talking about COVID at all. It's more so how you guys are evolving every step of the way from Michael's cash register, to heat and these geofencing.
But this is all in about 25, 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's actually probably longer than that, but it's a long time.
Yeah, I would say that it's rapidly enhancing technology, and it's growing really fast, and we have to stay on what is happening.
Thank you. So my next question is this. Okay, so we're talking about previous technologies. You must also be privy to what's coming. What's coming in the technology world?
Okay, well, everything's going kind of automated, and like IP voice over phone systems. That's also something that we do. We work with. We're doing a little promotion right now. So if you share with us your phone bill, we guarantee we'll cut it in half for you. Doesn't matter.
Cell phone bills?
Not cell phone bills. It'll be your landline bills.
Yeah,
we hook it up to our network.
There
and
you
everything
go.
operates.
VoIP.
Yes, a voice over IP phones. And we could even connect them as far as to intercom systems, like in grocery stores. We went up to TCN. We did a whole visit. We're going to help open up that store in Split Lake, and everything from the camera to debit to ATM to everything that we provide. It's a one-stop shop, and you call one number instead of multiple different trades. You call us, right?
That's fantastic.
So business owners, they get access to their cameras. They get access to their entire system when they're on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, you could do different programming right from the beach. You could pull video footage.
So what would you say is your favorite service to sell?
Oh, Lordy. That's a loaded question.
Right, because look, sales are sales, but if you don't enjoy it, it's obviously the people in the relationship.
Honestly,
said that.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite go-to, I can sell any day of the week service?
You know what? Honestly, I would probably say cameras. Yeah, cameras, it's huge. Well, basically, because it's my baby.
My baby. I heard you say
that. So I said that already.
Yeah, okay.
But it's just a sense of security that I create for, communities, and it goes a long way. And I think it's very important, and it's key. So
I love that story you said about that boundaries. Does that go for res dogs too? Does that keep them away?
Oh, okay. So this is kind of cool. Yeah. So there's built-in analytics where we could actually have it programmed so it only flashes when it detects a vehicle or a car or a dog, if you want, a res dog, shall we say? You know, to keep them out of maybe a school parameter. You don't want the dog coming in within a school area. You know, it could send different messages and alerts, but it's kind of neat that way too. So it's not constantly recording, and we have the capability.
Well, I went to Little Saskatchewan with Michael about a month or so ago, and I really enjoyed my time there. But when I got out of my car, there was dogs, and they just started coming out of everywhere. I was down the street, and I'm like, "There's like 6 dogs. Where did they come from? Why are they coming towards us?" You know, and I guess it's a real thing out there.
Yes. Right? Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a res dogs.
How many nations have you been to, do you think, over your career?
Okay. You know what? So I know that there's about like 63 in Manitoba-ish around there. And of the 63, we work with probably about 50 from any one of our product lines. And I know
50
economic development, it's growing rapidly, and it's becoming really progressive and very forward thinking of Manitoba. But we've worked in Saskatchewan with multiple clients too, even with cannabis software and that for little dispensaries. And even in Ontario, like we're working with Pekajicum First Nation right now, opening, and Barren Lands, we opened up their diner with our technology.
Oh, that's fantastic! I heard about that. Is that where Bubba's from Burgers?
Yeah.
How is
and
that?
That's at George's Burgers.
That's at George's Burgers up at Barren Lands.
Yeah.
How's that going up there?
It's going pretty good. Yeah, everything seems stable. It's working. The soft opening, I wasn't in attendance there, but I will for the grand opening, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, that's
always for everybody.
It's doing really well, and it's just really nice to bring a restaurant to the community when there wasn't one, or somebody's flipping pizzas that have been selling them out of their house. You know,
that's amazing.
So
and that's owned by the First Nations up there, the businesses.
Yeah. So it's a brand of George's Burgers, but it's going to be branded. I'm not sure what the name is.
That's fantastic.
But,
one thing I don't want to forget is you guys are looking at the future of the ATMs. Can we discuss that? Because this is a lot of people. You know, we don't want to talk about it turning out to be a cashless society. People don't want to talk about that.
No,
and it gets people upset. But there's a new wave of ATMs coming up. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's something that is needed. All my years with working with POS systems, from all the travels I've been to communities, there's one reoccurring question that was always asked: do you have a solution to cash government or regulated checks, or get out of that the we card? So that was a huge question that was asked. And eventually, like Terry McKenzie, the president of POS systems, like we were involved in trade shows, traveling all over North America. And we partnered up with this company to do custom coding. And what we are launching is a way for community members to cash government regulated checks through a smart ATM platform. So this is something that we are bringing to the communities that we really want to launch. If somebody wants, because a lot of people don't have bank accounts, right? So this allows that kind of sense of having a bank account, because I could cash my government related or regulated check. And then if I want to take out $200, you can take out $200, and the rest is loaded onto a customizable card.
That's cool.
That then you could go and use at any store and any debit terminal. You're not just restricted to use it at certain locations. You could use it anywhere.
Well, that's fantastic. Can you e-transfer or send money yet?
You could do all that kind of stuff. So within the customization,
and I like that, because our people get so decimated and treated so bad by the institutions, and our people need this product, because we got to give them some autonomy towards how they're going to spend their money.
Absolutely.
I think about last summer when you did that barbecue for Garden Hill and for the fire evacuees.
Yeah.
They had half an hour. Pack up, get on a plane, get to Winnipeg. Yeah. No money, no access to money. And that was a real eye-opener.
Well, when the Red Cross deposited some money, I guess there was some sort of a pay list. Yeah. They still had lots of trouble accessing their money. And if they had these cards where the money could be loaded on, they could basically, instead of going to Money Mart and getting soaked there, they can go and take their debit terminals.
We're not going to diss Money Mart publicly, but what we're saying is there's definitely room for opportunity there.
Or the
sounds to me like you guys-
payday loan companies.
Yeah.
Anything else.
Mhm.
Mr. Brand Basher over there. That's something. But that is very accurate, right? It's true, and it's companies just like that have taken advantage for so long, and that experience kind of started our conversations. And when are these bank machines going to be readily available?
So honestly, being completely transparent in front of the world, Manitoba word, we're looking for investors for the financial and for the finance portion of it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah,
Well, that's
There
interesting.
might
So we
be
need,
there might be some First Nations out
yep.
there that have some investment capabilities.
it's
That
like
might be a
we
good
have-
return for some of the
Yeah.
First Nations that want to invest.
It's like who's would like to take on the responsibility, basically.
Yeah,
liability.
so it's coming in the future, is what you're
Yeah.
saying, and that's exciting. And I didn't realize there was an investor opportunity. So anyone who's tuning in, for sure, there's always investment opportunities. Looks to me like Pooh Bear's reaching out to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really cool, and I love hearing about the technology, and it sounds like you're on the forefront with those bank machines. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like I say, when we did that barbecue, and I got to meet a lot of these people who are evacuees, hearing their stories for me, and I remember sitting there with my better half, Shauna, and hearing about how they had such a short window of time. They had to literally grab what they could and get on a plane, come to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And for those people who've not been to here or whatever, and to not have any money when they first get here, not an easy. I just think about the mental stress, leaving behind our pets, leaving behind our homes, and going to a strange place you don't want to be.
Honestly.
And all that compounds. And I think having those bank machines in the future will definitely ease that little bit. So that's incredible. So we talked about liquor, weed. Talked about cameras, dogs.
Well,
what else we got?
we know
going
for
on?
a fact there's no liquor or weed basically allowed or sanctioned yet in our communities, because I went to Blood Vein last Friday. It was a beautiful trip. I had an amazing trip. I met the chief and council there. They had a check stop.
You did. You actually went through it.
Yeah, I went through the check stop, and they checked out the car. I said, by all means, have a look.
Pat you all
But
down.
what happened was they were trying to eliminate the alcohol and drugs that come into the community. I'm sure there's ways of sneaking it in. This is what organized crime's about. But if that check stop wasn't there, there would be there wouldn't be good. Because what happened was, in the winter road, that check stop stopped people when the trucks went up to St. Teresa Wasagamot, Garden Hill, Red Sucker.
Oh, wow.
So after the winter road was over, they kept that check stop going. And that check stop is very important to keep going. And the chief, amazing chief, she said that we got to keep that check stop going, but there's a cost to it, because there's like 3 people there.
Yeah.
So your baby being cameras, how is there any of your camera gear solar operated? Is there anything that you can do remotely?
Yeah, we do have some solar operated options. This is great too for a lot of communities that have one point of entry.
Actually, that's a good idea. We should make a proposal to Blood Vein.
Put that in your check stop.
That's right, where you're actually taking a picture and videoing, protecting the people and the law enforcement that are sitting there.
Yeah.
Contact Amy today for more information.
What a great idea, right?
Hey, I've been sitting here not just for my good looks. I'm thinking too, right?
Yeah.
So that's incredible. Check stops, we're gonna add to your list now, Amy.
Yeah. Well, there is TCN too. I was up there recently, a couple months ago, because I mentioned that we're opening up their new grocery store and gas station. They have a check stop too coming into the community, and they're thinking of expanding on that and keeping the people that are there safe. And
there's predators everywhere, and if that's helping, I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so now we got check stops added to the list. What else do you guys do? I was saying before we jumped online, there's a lot of businesses out there, even Isaac's mom's one of them, that's looking for a portable payment system. That's common to you?
No, very common to us. Honestly, that was one of we brought on merchant processing years ago, before my time, even working with the company. And it is important because, once again, a lot of people use debit terminals or they use Apple Pay or Google Pay. So we do have devices.
Okay.
And the neat thing with us is you have the option to rent the device or you can purchase it.
Cool.
We set up the account for you and our rates are significantly lower than if you're going with the banks. You deal with us, and we even have apps for your cell phone for those smaller businesses,
Sure.
For markets per se, or, people that have maybe cleaning services or whatever it is that they have. You can have an app on your phone directly and it connects to your bank account. And the money gets deposited.
I
the next
like
day.
that. For those people that have the mom and pop operations, which are very common,
Oh yeah.
you already have a solution for them, right? If they to take their, because there's not a lot of cash in a lot of ways on the communities. They have these mom and pop stores. So is there a way that these people can bring their debit cards to shop, say to pick up chocolate bars and chips?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
See, isn't that, you can't get it any easier now.
Yeah.
Never mind milk, bread, and eggs. It's chocolate bars and chips.
Well, I know that's crazy, but that's the big sale on these little mom and pop stores.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
They're
sure.
not going to be selling apples and oranges, Steve.
No, well, I'm a living proof
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
No, that's
We
hilarious.
even have these promotions going on for this particular device that we do sell. It's a little pocket, and if you're a new merchant that comes to us, like we'll put in a free pocket for you just to be,
That's
merchant
fantastic.
processing was our foot in the door.
That's cool.
We go in, we're very competitive. Before merchant processing was deregulated, people like us were able to dictate the market of what the rates are, and we're giving banks the real money, like run for their money, right? So we're able to dictate what those rates are and go as low as we possibly can just to get that customer. But we provide all these services that merchant processing is the foot in the door to maybe they need a new camera system, maybe they need a point of sale system, maybe they need liquor control, maybe they need gas pump integration, maybe they need internal networking, or maybe they need a phone system, an IP
Maybe
phone
they need a
system.
bank machine.
Maybe they need a bank machine,
right?
yeah.
Like that's
One-stop
easy.
shop here.
It is,
Like honestly, we call ourselves the one-stop shop, like the one-stop technical professionals.
Now,
So.
for these different communities, what about services like servicing? I should ask. How do you guys do that? How do you facilitate?
So we're very hands-on. How we do it more often than not, because it boils down to the software. Maybe a community forgot how to, enter an employee or something simple like that.
Oh, that's the training part.
Then it's part of the training, but then we
Okay.
can dial into their software and take control of it to do some remote training. But we also, when we do the installation, we provide training, and we do have other training courses that we do provide as well.
Oh, that's good.
I was just gonna say, so you're cloud based. So you're always probably on standby and on call, right? For problems.
Yeah, we have technicians that are
And you guys also train people there. That's a
They
pretty
even
good
have a little
system.
classroom.
We do.
I saw the classroom.
That's right. We went upstairs,
I
right?
went to POS. There's a classroom for
for training.
for training.
So we have
Staff.
a 3-day training program. It
Yeah.
could be retail or hospitality. It's more so retail for those gas stations that are opening up, or the
That's
grocery
right.
stores.
I like
And,
that.
Yeah, we take in the students, and we could do well-rounded training for even like how to balance the books, the voids, comps, the discounts. Even some customer services in there, and then all the acronyms in retail and everything related to like how you punch in all the items, how
Acronyms in retail.
there's lots of acronyms in retail. Like seriously,
Wow.
my goodness, yeah.
I like that.
It's pretty mind blowing, but it's the success rate for the turnover for the employees to actually stay
Yeah.
after taking our training course
It's amazing.
has been very successful.
I like that, because if somebody's paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for this whole system, and some of these, you just don't throw the key at them and
No.
let them run.
No.
At least they're being trained.
We're with you
That's really
every
important.
step of the way.
Yeah, all the
essentially.
time. You know,
You call us after.
that's fantastic. And anyway, so what I'd like to also mention is when we're helping out Little Sask to get their store up and running. We're gonna. That's what my forte is, and I started my first store, and we've helped. It's called facility management. We've helped a lot of First Nation communities get their stores up and running, and POS has always been there for me. But luckily, when I went to the Little Sask store, they got a beautiful store there. It's got POS everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys have already set it up. Now what we got to do is we got to get the BLTs going. You've already got the software up and running. So it makes our job a lot easier. Now we got to get the supplies in there and open this up over the next couple of months for them.
Yeah, that's the time frame, a couple of months.
Yeah, a couple of months, and we got to negotiate the best prices on everything, and so that the First Nation can capitalize on their tobacco and gas tax, because that's home source revenue that the First Nation needs. They do.
Also, the other thing, is it set up for voice over IP in that store yet?
No, because that was something that.
See, look at their goal here, right? The gears are moving.
At the time, I don't think we had our internal networking division to make everything just like have a great synergy. But even the relationship too, like with Pratt's, we have a huge relationships with Pratt's, where we have an integration with our system with their
Pratt's is amazing
invoicing, and so we work well with them as well.
Pratt's gave me my very first account. Old Mr. Baranek. The old man Baranek, he gave me $5,000 credit when I was 16 years old, and we never looked back. Right? And that was a lot of money when I was a kid. You know what I mean? That was a lot of chocolate bars and chips.
So the inventory control on the POS, I remember it in the restaurant and the food industry. Like if I'm selling a meal, it deducts from my inventory that I have. Is that still the case now? Does that work with Pratt's, or is that?
This is pretty much the same case. But that was the restaurant world, so we have a great relationship with Pratt's for the retail environment. Especially in communities where we created this coding that's for invoicing purposes for ordering. But we create our shelf talker labels that go on the shelf for every single item. So when you're opening up a new store, we print all that out. We hand it over to Pratt's. Pratt's comes in, they build the shelves, they stock the shelves. They'll put those logos and labels on the shelf for the community and everything. So it works well. Like our software works really great with their software. And so it's huge. And even as far as inventory goes, we have portable devices that you could just go scan the shelf talker. You could place your order right then and there without having to go plug it back into the back office PC.
Well, that's what impressed me about the liquor machines that you have. The liquor control, I guess, of it is. I just remember restaurants back in the day, every night when the restaurant closed, the bartenders would have to go and do a liquor inventory. You know? And then it was a squirrel. Remember this? Were you around the squirrel system?
So originally we started with squirrel, but then we,
so as a
moved on to bigger and better things.
As a cook in the restaurants, I remember getting what we call toilet paper, and it was all the bills coming in from the squirrel machine, right?
Oh, everything's condensed now.
And so now it's condensed, and it helps with the inventory.
User friendly. Very user friendly now.
Well, that's inventory is everything. That's the bread and butter of almost every business, right?
So with our liquor control systems, there's not 1 ounce that could be pumped through that restaurant without the owner knowing about it.
That's cool.
Isn't that great?
Like essentially.
Now, what happens if all of a sudden, there's a power failure? Well, you got backup, right?
There's backup now,
Well, you know what? What if you lose inventory, that could cost your business.
That's what I mean.
And this is what's really important. I've always said if you lost 20 liters of fuel,
right,
at the end of the day, the reconciliation will tell you if you're missing that fuel. If you're missing 6 packs of cigarettes, it'll tell you.
Absolutely.
And that's really important because those are items that could go missing very easy.
But you have to do the inventory. You have to do the work. So when you receive items, you need to enter it into the system.
There you go. That's right. It has to be entered.
You have to enter it.
And we Michael and I were even talking about this, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, about our old restaurant days and the headaches that come in that industry. The number one loss in the restaurant industry is theft. Right? Oh, I'm gonna try to go for a date with you later. So wait till you see what I cook for you, know? And it's just silly things like that really add up in the restaurant business. And because of that, a lot of these restaurants have cameras in the lines, right? Cameras, your baby. So you're saving a lot of money for restaurants too. That's amazing. The last thing I just want to touch on a little bit more is the voice over IP. Do you know what that is? No. Okay.
Yeah, I would VoIP. Yeah, a little bit. But.
Right. But everything that she's talking about is internet driven, is cloud driven. Technology nowadays, to me, fascinates me. That redundancy, that backup. But it's kind of like talking crypto, and so you're expert in managed IT. he's available at your office.
Yep.
Right. How are people going to be able to learn more about your services, Amy? What's the best way for them to reach out?
Well,
to you?
you could reach out to us, my cell. Remember, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Do I put all that information on?
You know what?
Just POS systems.
What's your
Yeah.
address, first of all? You can tell
It's
people.
not your personal address, the business address.
Not your home.
So
Yeah.
we're located on Erin Street,
Okay.
literally kitty corner to St. Matthews. You go down,
Close to Portage
we're like
Avenue.
2 doors to the right off of St. Matthews and
Okay.
Erin, 814 Erin.
Yeah, perfect.
You could come down there. You could give us a call. You could ask for myself. I could set up an in-person meeting in your community. Like we
Yeah.
travel. Oh gosh, do we ever travel?
Yeah.
Like I've been all the way up to Iqaluit, Nunavut, and Yellowknife
Wow.
to like Vancouver. We
That's
go
cool.
everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and you feel
Yeah.
so welcome. I just want
Yeah.
the people to know if you like, they're great people over there.
Mhm.
And maybe Amy will pour you a coffee, sit down with you, talk to you about what needs to get done in your business.
Yeah.
You know what? I remember in the summertime when we sat in your boardroom, you had a very interesting, intuitive smart board.
Mhm.
Are those still available?
Yes, they are. Yeah. So
Remember that?
Great for schools too.
Yeah.
You could the students could mirror their cell
Oh, for the
phones or
schools.
tablets.
Wow,
And
that's another level.
it's app
That's
and
pretty-
Android and like they're pretty neat.
Yeah.
Good for boardrooms.
Yeah,
though, too,
yeah, that's
as well.
great.
Now,
Yeah.
can that smart board, can it operate as a camera and a microphone in a boardroom?
They can. Sure can.
See?
You know,
Because Mr. Birch is like, Steven, we got to get cameras and audio into the war room. And I'm thinking, maybe we're just going to get one of these
Yeah.
smart boards and
No,
call it a
Our
day.
boardroom is really busy. It's actually booked right now.
Yeah,
There's
I
people in there talking.
Yeah.
It is a
Lots
volleyball.
going on.
But yeah, no, it's something else that we're dabbling into for communities. It could be like a revenue opportunity for the band office.
Mhm.
Say there's MTS, there's Shaw, there's all these phone providers for internet. So each and every home, they might need a phone, they might need internet, and they might need cable. It's something we can provide as a package deal, but
Amazing.
then the band builds
Oh,
the community members and undercuts it, so you're saving money.
okay.
Hey.
That's another idea.
That's something that we're kind of dabbling with right now.
Amazing.
Yep.
I can help you with that marketing pitch if you like.
Yeah.
My wheels
Yeah.
are going.
Yeah.
Trying to make sense of all
Uh-huh.
that. That's
Uh-huh.
crazy. So, okay. So we got the full service, smart technology. We still haven't figured out where you live yet. I know you guys are located on Erin Street,
Yeah.
but is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up for the day?
Basically, we welcome anybody to come into our office at any given time and set up a complimentary site visit. We're very, very, very incredibly hands-on, and give us a call. We're the one-stop shop.
Fantastic.
Well
Any
said.
targets that are of interest that you'd like to talk to? Any particular groups or
We'd love to work with
I think
everybody.
they've already been in communication with a lot of those groups.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We have been,
Yeah.
and we definitely
Yeah.
have
You
been,
guys
but we definitely
guys
we
are
would love
everywhere.
to work with Churchill.
Yeah. That's right.
My good friend Sheila.
call it
North,
out,
yeah.
call it
Yeah.
out. Hey.
Yeah, but Bonamy,
Yeah, exactly. Sheila
There's-
North
there's-
is a really
Yeah.
incredible
Oh,
person.
absolutely. Yeah, just
And,
actually,
I noticed
seen
you
her
guys-
on Friday, last
I know.
Friday.
I saw
yeah.
that online. You guys
Yeah,
were having
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah, it was just a quick little
Yeah.
visit
Nice.
between
nice.
flights. But so it's fun. It's
Right
great.
on. Well,
Lots of
Amy,
meeting
what
people.
a pleasure and an honor to have you.
Oh, thanks for
Fun.
having me,
So
guys.
happy. I want to thank you very much. And POS Systems.
Yeah.
You want to end it with anything else there?
Well, no, I just wanted to say thank you to Michael Palais. He seems to like every one of our
Yeah.
videos. I just, call out and reach out to him. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Yep.
Stay tuned for more interviews like this.
Yep.
We just love having them. Again, it's that unscripted formula. How natural was that?
Yeah, I guess
You're
so.
doing good. You're natural.
You are a
I'm like-
natural. You didn't have to have your nervous, scary coffee like Mr. Birch. You're
Yeah, I know.
around water, so that's a good start. But stay tuned and watch them. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, gosh, everywhere else.
Yep.
It's
Like,
our pleasure.
share,
Yeah, like,
whatever.
share, follow.
Please.
Give us some questions or input. If you've got any questions or information further that Amy can help you with, we'll connect you directly. It's best to go to their website or stop in person at their location on Erin Street. You know what? I think it's been fun.
All right.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. We covered a lot of information, and I really like the future technology.
Mhm.
The managed IT is of great interest. I think you're unique in your space, aren't you?
Yep. very, very unique. Where different point of sale companies, they just focus on certain areas. We just expanded to we're transferring into a technology company more than anything. So I think our rebranding is going to be POS Technology.
Good, because I'm trying to spit it out and make sense of it all. And
yeah.
and every time I talk to you guys got something else that's like right now cutting edge smart.
Yeah.
So good on you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like literally, once again, like I said, like after the building's built, the shelves are stocked. We're there to keep you running through technology.
Beautiful.
So give us a call or look at it on Aaron.
Amazing.
Or just www.possystems.com.
Yeah, there you go. She's amazing, isn't she? So don't hesitate to stop in and say hi to Amy, please, at POS Systems. And it's been a great episode. I can't thank you enough. Thanks you so much.
Yeah,
and always in a good way.
Thank you. It's time for
Bye.
Bye.
Always in a good way.